Hello, everyone, and happy Halloween from the Seymour Marine Discovery Center at Long Marine Lab. My name is Jen, and today we will be looking at spooky marine mammal skulls and skins. I am in the Seymour Center's education classroom where there are hundreds of very special behind the scenes treasures that we don't normally get to see. But today I have a couple of very special marine mammal skulls and skins laid out in front of me. This is really exciting because normally we only get to see the skin of the animal or the exterior of the animal. So this is an example of a skin right here. You can see that's kind of brown in color. But we don't normally get to see the inside of the animal or the bones or the skull or what makes up that interior scaffolding or support structure of the animal. So I'm really excited to dig a little bit deeper into these skulls that you see here. Skulls and skins are so important to scientists because these items that you see here often tell a story about the animal's life when it was previously alive, and it can also tell us about how that animal died. But it takes really special people to do that type of investigative work. Fortunately, here at UC Santa Cruz, researchers in the Long Marine Lab Marine Mammal Stranding Network are able to uncover those stories and really investigate more about these animals. When they look at an animal that has passed away or that has died, they are looking for a couple of specific things, but they're really looking at these skulls and these skins to piece together that story about how that animal died. So if appropriate, these scientists do what's called necropsies, also known as animal autopsies, to really get an in-depth, closer look into these animals. The researchers at the Stranding Network have been the investigators for over 30 years, and we have learned so much about marine mammals from them. The Stranding Network works really hard to learn more about these marine mammals, about specific species, as well as how the population is doing. Not only are they collecting really important data when they're investigating these animals, but they can also look at other factors related to human health. For instance, when they're looking at these animals, they often identify different diseases or pathogens in the environment, which can be a signal or a canary in the coal mine to what's to come to either to humans or to other wildlife. When researchers at the Stranding Network need to evaluate an animal after it has died, they usually first look at the skin of the animal. However, sometimes the skin or the exterior of that animal is so decomposed and so rotted away that they then have to go to other clues to figure out what species that animal belongs to. And that's where skull identification becomes a huge help, because they really sometimes only have the bones to rely on. So that is what we're going to be doing today, is looking at these skulls, trying to identify them, looking at really unique features, compare and contrast all of the three skulls, and figure out what makes them unique. As we're going through this program, if you want to increase your participation, go ahead and grab a notebook, a couple of sheets of blank paper and a pencil, so you can sketch these skulls as we identify them together. That way, when you go back to your notes, you can actually see what it looks like. Let's dive in and take a closer look. The first clue as to figuring out what skull belongs to what animal is to look at the size and shape. I really want to look for the largest skull, look for the smallest skull, and really try to understand about what skull can actually fit into which animal. That will give me my first clue. But as I'm also looking at these skulls, I'm also asking myself questions as to what features do I notice? Is there anything similar or different about the skulls that I'm seeing? Is there anything else that's really unique about these skulls that really stands out to me, and why that is? And I'm also looking for other things that I might be curious about or I might not know the answer to, right? So here is the largest skull. And this is the largest skull out of the three. And when I am observing it, I'm noticing it, again, I want to look for features that really stand out to me. So obviously the size of it, and I know it's the largest. So now my mind is going to, what large animal could this possibly belong to? Again, remember, these are all marine mammals, and all of these skulls are from marine mammals that are found in the Monterey Bay. So as I'm looking at the skull, obviously the size stands out. Also, the teeth really stand out too. And teeth could be a really unique identifying factor of skulls. So always look to the teeth as a clue. But when I'm looking here, see these big front teeth? These are called canines, and these can be really sharp and they're really big. But as I'm looking more at the skull, I also notice that teeth at the back of the mouth, they are kind of peg-like, and they're just kind of spaced out really well. They look almost peg-like. They're all the same shape. So that's also a really key indicator for me as to what animal this skull belongs to. If you're still looking for a hint, let's go ahead and take a listen to the sound that this animal makes when it's still alive. Have you figured it out yet? This skull belongs to a northern elephant seal. So do you think that this skull belongs to a male or a female northern elephant seal? What factors or clues or evidence do you see on the skull that makes you come to your conclusion? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. So the next skull I want to look at is this one right here. And this skull is not the largest in the group, but definitely not the smallest. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Next thing I look for, again, is very prominent features. And so something that sticks out to me is this crest right here. This crest is called a sagittal crest. And the presence of such a large crest means that this animal has very strong jaw muscles. So I can guess, or I can infer that this animal has a very powerful bite. I also notice that the canines, or the teeth in the front, look very sharp and big. And I also notice that the teeth towards the back of the mouth are also peg-like, but they almost line up in a pattern, which is very different than the teeth from the northern elephant seal skull. So again, this is another clue. You think you got it? You have any guesses? Well, here's a hint. Let's go ahead and listen to the sound that this animal makes when it's still alive. Did you get it? This skull belongs to a California sea lion. Do you think that this skull belongs to a male or a female California sea lion? What evidence or features do you see that makes you come to your conclusion? Again, let me know in the comments. Great. Well, now this is our smallest skull of the bunch. And when I look at this one, I'm also again looking for features that are similar or different to the elephant seal and the sea lion. So when I first look at the skull, I notice that it looks like a very different shape. And when I say shape, it almost looks a bit rounder, almost more like a circle than these two skulls that we looked at previously. And another thing I want to look at, again, it does have a bottom jaw. Here it is, it's just detached. But when I look at this, I'm also looking at the teeth. So again, you have the big canines in front, they look pretty sharp. But as I look towards the teeth in the back of the mouth, they're almost flat, just like human molars. This is very different than the teeth that we saw on the elephant seal and the sea lion. And this is a huge clue as to what animal this can belong to. Does anybody have any guesses so far? Again, this is a marine mammal that is commonly seen in the Monterey Bay. Well, let's take another hint. So let's go ahead and listen to the sound that this animal makes while it's still alive. Did that give it away? This skull belongs to a southern sea otter. As you're sketching away, right, we have the northern elephant seal, California sea lion, as well as the southern sea otter. And a really interesting feature of skulls that I haven't pointed out yet, and something that is actually commonly missed by a lot of people, is something that is found on the underside of the skull. So I am going to pick up the southern sea otter skull and show you the underside. And then I will also pick up the California sea lion skull and show the underside as well. So something that you can find on the underside of the skull is a structure called the auditory bulla. The auditory bulla is a hollow bony structure that actually encompasses parts of the middle and inner ear. So the thought is the larger this auditory bulla, the better that you can hear. So as folks are looking at skulls, look for the auditory bulla because that can give you a hint about just how well these animals are able to hear. So here at UC Santa Cruz, researchers at the Pinniped Cognition and Sensory Systems Lab, they take it one step further. They investigate how well these animals are able to perceive sound in the environment around them. And what's really unique is that all of these marine mammals, they are known as amphibious animals. That means that they spend some of their time on land and some of their time underwater. So the lab has to figure out how well these animals are able to hear above water and below water. First, establish auditory profiles for different species by testing their hearing in air and in water at a range of frequencies. From this information, they generate audiograms or hearing curves that allow them to determine frequency ranges of hearing, regions of best hearing sensitivity, and how hearing sensitivities in different media, such as air or water, correlate to different life history. The results of their research are used to generate models predicting noise at a given intensity, duration, or character will affect any of these animals. Ultimately, the data that they generate is used by regulatory agencies charged with protecting marine mammals from the potentially damaging effects of noise in the environment. All of this information helps us to understand how groups of species are similar or different and why. I hope you had fun today learning more about marine mammal skulls and how to identify them. I also hope you really enjoyed learning more about the Long Marine Lab Marine Mammal Stranding Network, as well as the Pinniped Cognition and Sensory Systems Lab. If you are interested in seeing more videos like this, I ask that you please consider making a donation or becoming a member of the Seymour Marine Discovery Center. And you can always find more information on our website, which is seymourcenter.ucsc.edu. Again, my name is Jen, here with the Spooky Marine Mammal Skulls, and I will see you next time.